Tonight on the True Crime Squad, we have quite a lineup for Wednesday night case updates. Let's talk about the beginning of the Alexander brothers trial, what's going on with Tyler Robinson. You're going to find this very interesting. A little Charlie Adelson news and some Kouri Richins news. You know, some of the top of our FOS list here at True Crime Squad. Also, what's going on with Ken McKee, what's going on in the investigation into the murder of Alex Pretti, what's going on with Mickey Stines' judge, Aaron Spencer's judge, and guess who testified for himself in court today? That would be Brendan Banfield. And, well, maybe you'll be surprised by some of the things he said, but probably, considering that you've been following this trial like we have, you won't. This is the True Crime Squad. Let's get into it.
In a world full of whispers, alibis thin, two sharp-eyed sleuths say, all right, who sinned? Has tipped low, clues fall in line. They read between the lines, right on time. Grim starts sweating when the squad rolls through. Every story tested, most don't stand up to prove. So grab your fedora, jump right in. True Crime Squad's on, and the trouble begins. Join the super squad, bonus laughs, deeper clues. Same sharp sleuths, just extra clues.
Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going. It's an interesting day. We had some snow. We had some big drama because in your town there was a goat on the loose that it caused quite a stir on social media. Yes. He's still on the loose.
This?
Yeah, he was over by the sandwich tree apparently.
Oh,
he was seen running up the railroad tracks. Yeah, there's been dare I say a manhunt, a kid hunt for him.
A kid hunt, yeah.
Mm-hmm. People were sharing videos of seeing him like running down the street and stuff. So, yeah, if you were following it, it's been great entertainment. But I hope he's okay.
I do hope he's okay. Yeah, I totally missed that. Wow.
And what a goat is doing in the middle of town, I don't know. But
yeah, that is a good question.
So I hope he makes it back to his family.
That's a huge, scary intersection right there, too. So that's worrisome.
I hope he gets back to his family this evening safe and sound, especially just before night falls because it's cold. Night has already fallen, really. So, yeah, but it's been pretty good entertainment, however, to see people grabbing footage of him. Apparently, a lot of people have tried to catch him, and he hoofs it out of there. And there's something going on with this goat. Yeah.
We may have an update on this tomorrow because now I got to dig in.
He's on a hell of an adventure. Yeah.
You might notice also who showed up for work 2 nights, 2 days in a row. Little Sandy Susan right here showed right up as though she's just been coming to work. She just took an extended vacation and forgot to tell me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very glad that she's here with us.
It was on a need-to-know basis, and you and Vorch didn't need to know.
I guess not. I mean, I thought I was her boss, but we all know really she's my boss. So
let's be real.
That's probably what's happened here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, she just spilled my drink all over the place with her tail. Cats. Anyway, we have
Welcome
a lot.
Back, Sandy.
Yeah. We have a lot to get to, and we are going to start with little Brendan Banfield because his trial was back on today, and friends, he put himself on the stand, and well, he's not done. He was on the stand for an hour and a half, and that idiot is still not done. The prosecution hasn't even had a chance at him yet. It isn't. And we're going to see a clip here in a minute. But let me tell you what else happened today. Something that I think any of us who've been watching this trial were very grateful to see happen, which was a smack down of this redonkulous defense private investigator who has been on the stand for, I think, 72 weeks now. Is that what it feels like?
6 to 8 business years, yes.
Yeah, 6 to 8. He was on the stand for a couple days last week. He was on the stand again today. Dude it's so boring, okay? And it's just one of those, he's got some opinions about some of the digital evidence. And it's that kind of stuff that just puts juries to sleep, that doesn't
Yeah.
really mean anything, that doesn't change what's happened here at all. And it has taken so long. And I have to say, I appreciate the prosecutor in this situation so much
Mm-hmm.
because they put the smackdown on this dude in a very short period of time. And I think we were all ready to see it. So let me tell you a little bit about what happened there first, because, well, it was pretty satisfying. Yeah. one of the articles that I read about this, the headline is 2 days gone in minutes, how the prosecution flipped the digital case. Yeah. That is what happened. Okay.
2 days gone in minutes. I'm going to remember that. I like
I
that.
gotta tell you, this dude, but it's not he's just there doing the thing, but the defense attorney is so boring. And every time they had to put photos or anything up, he had to get help because he couldn't do it himself. And oh my God, it was one of those times where you're like, are you just trying to bore the jury to death? Are they just, hoping that they're going to be like, okay, fine, we'll let him off if we don't have to listen to this anymore? It's kind of like that. So I'm going to read this because this is someone who was in the courtroom, and it's brilliant. After 2 days of dense digital testimony, the prosecution dismantled the defense's forensic expert in a matter of moments, and it was devastating. This is from NBC Washington. The prosecutor calmly elicited testimony to remind the jury of a critical limit. The expert can only testify to what a device did, not who was using it. And that was a bone of contention throughout this guy's testimony. The defense attorney kept couching it as though a person did this, a person did that, and there were a lot of objections around that because no, you don't know who was using it.
Right.
Then came the receipts.
Has this guy never been on the stand before?
I don't know, man. I've got questions about him. Okay, but first there was a language issue. So the prosecutor highlighted Telegram messages. First of all, they were communicating on Telegram, which makes me immediately suspicious of what was going on.
Yeah.
But, as we've learned, criminals think that communicating on Telegram is a safe way. But what they don't know is if you don't delete your Telegram messages, then they're just still right there. Like, they think, we've seen this in other trials where they think, well, this is like super McDuper encrypted and can't be saved and blah, 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 blah.
They think the term encrypted means something different than it really does.
I think so, because, obviously these messages were still around.
Yeah.
But the prosecutor noticed a critical issue, and that is that the Telegram messages were written in non-native phrasing consistent with Juliana, who was here from Brazil. This was her first time in the U.S., and she's a non-native English speaker. The speech patterns were different than Brendan Banfield, whose first language is English. One example was, how has been your experience so far? Not something a native English speaker would say. Undercutting the defense theory that Christine was the author, actually, which, no, she wouldn't have said that either. She's a native English speaker as well. This was very subtle, but it was very powerful to be like, oh, yeah, because Juliana writes like someone who knows English as a second language, and there are things that come across a little differently.
Sure.
And then there was the timing issue. They also had something called FetLife. I don't actually know what that is. And this was another way that they were communicating with each other. Or if this is the way they were, I don't know, they were communicating as Christine. Jurors heard that FetLife activity occurred moments after Christine asked her husband if he was coming upstairs. And he replied, I'll be right up. So the question, of course, is why would Christine suddenly jump onto FetLife at that exact moment? Because this is supposedly how Christine was communicating with the BDSM people that she was communicating with.
For sure.
And so if this was supposedly a secret thing that she was doing, why would she jump on there to communicate on there just as her husband is coming upstairs to bed? Like, that doesn't track. And then the prosecution showed Christine searching for family vacation resorts on her laptop and then picking up the same search on her phone hours later. And at the same time, the laptop was accessing FetLife and Telegram while she was on her phone accessing something else. Because her phone and her laptop were synced like a lot of people's are. Mine are too. That kind of continuity doesn't suggest device sharing chaos. It suggests one user moving seamlessly between those devices.
Mm-hmm.
And, we know that there was use of Christine's phone and Christine's laptop that were not actually Christine.
Right.
And finally, the knockout blow. No FetLife or Telegram activity on January 13th or 14th, or January 13th and 14th, or January 31st and February 1st. The exact windows when Brendan and Juliana were out of state.
Oh.
Weird. You mean like Christine had access to her computer and phone and no one else did during that time? Yeah. It really shot 2 days of bullshit in the foot, maybe more in the ass. Really, I think very quickly it went from this is so stupid and confusing and what does it even mean to, oh, it's just a bunch of bullshit and it doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the judge does the thing that judges do, in which they make sure that the defendant understands that they don't have to testify on their own behalf, and that the jury would be instructed that they can't count that against him. As the judge is like, "Really sure you want to do this, Banfield? Are you sure?" Yeah, he was sure.
Do you want to think about it even a little tiny bit?
Apparently, he did not.
No, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the look on the witness's face when the prosecution kind of mic dropped him, like, so all this means nothing, really. Nothing. It was great. It was absolutely great. I was thrilled to see it happen because, my God, that was a boring witness. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
However, now I think what we need to do is let's just hear a little bit about Brendan describing how his affair with Juliana began.
Of your contact with Juliana, describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what kind of contact would you have on a daily basis prior to having a relationship?
Prior to having a relationship, it was mostly logistical. I may inform her when I was going to get home from work, if I had any delays, making sure that Valerie was getting to, say, dance lessons if Christine and I were not available then. Juliana would generally bring Valerie to preschool on the days that she was working. And we might just talk about activities for her to do with Valerie on days that they were working.
Okay. And when was it that this turned from a working relationship to something else?
In August of 2022.
Okay. Describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how that happened.
So in August, Juliana and I were home alone. I had to work on both Saturday and Sunday. So I believe the original day was a Friday. Christine and Valerie were in New York, and Juliana started texting me while I was preparing food in the kitchen. It was an unusual line of text as she was complaining about.
Let me, if I may, just
Sure.
interrupt. Where was she and where were you in the house?
I was in the kitchen. I believe she was upstairs in her room.
Okay. Sorry. Please go. Continue.
It was a unusual text conversation in terms of that Juliana was complaining about her dating activity and the people that she was seeing at the time. I don't particularly like texting, and I think I basically said that if she wanted.
One thing I just want to point out here is that Brendan gives way too much detail about everything. And it is something that people that are lying do all the time, right? He's like a 12-year-old explaining. And by the way, I don't like texting. And so it's all of this unnecessary information, which makes me immediately suspicious of someone.
Right.
But listen to, this is all it took with this man.
To talk that she could come to the kitchen.
Okay, and what if anything happened?
At that point, Juliana showed me quite a few screenshots of her dating app. I believe it was Hinge, and the people that were in the Hinge app all had similar names to me. Their names were Brendan and Brandon and Brennan. And these were people that she had matched with on the app.
Well, that means you should have an affair with her. That's what that means.
Listen to how flattered and gross this is.
And that's the first thing he noticed.
So,
yeah.
And how did it progress from there?
She was making quite a few jokes about it. At some point, I finished cooking and was eating. I don't believe that Juliana actually ate dinner at the same time. We talked about other unrelated things. Talked about there was some family history of alcoholism and how her family in Brazil was dealing with that. And we'd spent maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours talking about some random things, but also about her dating history. During this time, when she was talking about different people, she was described people that she was interested in, people that were taller, people that were older, and it appeared to me that she was
taller, older, like me. I've realized, and I will explain this, but this dude thinks he's fucking James Bond. I'll explain why in a minute.
He really
but he thinks I didn't know. I'll just explain this now. I didn't understand what he did for the IRS until today. He is an IRS investigator, and he carries a badge and a gun, guys. He is like super McDuper important. Don't you know?
Cool.
And she wanted someone older, and taller, who might be named Brendan or something close to that. Like the way that he is flattered by this, I'm like, oh my God, you are so disgusting. Yeah.
Along with the photos, the screenshots that she had shown me of people that she had matched with, that she was basically describing me. Also, I guess when we were having this conversation, we were sitting at the island in the kitchen, and she scooted her seat closer to mine a couple times.
And so what did you do at that point?
I did not stop her advances. At some point, I told her that I was going to go upstairs, indicating that I was going to go to bed. And she said that she was tired and that she was going to do the same. little bit of information about the upstairs of my house. Once you go upstairs, the master bedroom is to the
Listen to all of this ridiculous, unnecessary detail. This dude is such a fucking liar.
left, and all the other bedrooms are to the right. So her bedroom, a guest bedroom, and Valerie's bedroom are to the right. When I went upstairs, I went to the left, and she also took a step towards the left with me. And we had a brief conversation there. And then she came with me into my bedroom.
Ew.
Are you fucking kidding me? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. My room was to the left and hers was to the right. And I went to the left and she stepped toward the left. And I didn't stop her.
You're not at summer camp, dude. She works for you. Oh, good
Right.
Lord.
Also, at this time, she is 22. He is 37.
Yeah.
15 years age difference. She came to the United States to be their au pair.
Mm-hmm.
She's not lived in the U.S. outside of living in his dumbass house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and hello, he's a married man. But let me tell you, we learned some things about Brendan, and that is that he has never been faithful to Christine in their entire relationship.
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me at all.
Had multiple affairs. He accuses Christine of also having affairs. There is no evidence,
of course,
presented anywhere in this trial that she had affairs. He did. His attorney asked him if Christine knew of any of his affairs, and she knew of 2, not including Juliana.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't give a number of how many he'd had.
Mm-hmm.
But we do know that Juliana is their second au pair. So what do you think happened with their first au pair?
Mm-hmm. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that Christine had affairs about the way the dentist's wife was suicidal. This all sounds like the same damn story. Yep.
Yeah, it does. And of course, Christine's not here to defend herself now, is she, Brendan?
Did you ever talk to her either that night or later about a continuing relationship?
We did not talk that night about continuing a relationship. We did talk about, I would say, in the next few days, I guess we spoke a little bit about the relationship. She had indicated that she was concerned that I was going to tell Christine and that she was going to be essentially fired and sent back and lose her job.
Well, yeah.
Which I indicated that I wasn't going to tell her.
Right. He's not going to tell his wife.
What a prince. Uh-huh.
He is so disgusting, you guys. But to hear him talk about his job and his gun and his badge and having to go to the firing range and recertify and all of his special equipment he has to gather up from home to take to work to do his special job. This idiot thinks he's James Bond. He thinks he is some cool shit, man. He also is laying all of this at the feet of Juliana. That's his defense. He didn't know she was going to do all this. She just did this herself.
Yeah, you betcha.
Sent back where, Tall Red? Brazil. She was here as an au pair.
But so he did trip over that. Yeah, he did trip over that.
Right. So she was an au pair. So she was here on some kind of work visa that allowed her to be an au pair. But if she was no longer working for them, she would likely be sent back to Brazil. I want you to think about this. This young woman, she's 22. She comes to the United States to be their au pair. Okay. She hasn't lived here before. English is not her first language. But she set this entire thing up herself.
Mm-hmm.
The BDSM site, the FetLife account. She faked the Telegram account. She faked the Gmail account. She did all of this herself.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Sure,
you
Jan.
really think that would even be possible? He says it's just
No.
absolutely ridiculous to think that they could have set this up themselves in a 6 to 8 week time period, is what he said, although I think it was a little longer than that. But I mean, he is so gross. And this is just the beginning, because we have not seen what the prosecution is going to do to his ass, and I cannot wait.
Cross is going to be fun. Yeah.
Cross is going to be great, but he is still on the stand with his own attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, he is just as disgusting as I thought he was. Blech.
I'm sure the jury at this point is like, can we get through closing yet so we can say guilty?
Right.
Can we?
Like, the way he so nonchalantly tells that weird, super creepy story about how
and
their
the look
affair
on
started.
his face,
that grinning and smirking.
And, yeah.
Yeah, she was swiping right on all these guys, or left, or whatever it is, on Brendan and Brandon and Brennan and all this stuff. Like, he is eating that shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, does he have no idea what his face looks like when he's talking about that? Ugh. Yeah. Gross. So, anyway, we will continue to update this. But, yeah, it's as bad as we thought it was going to be. And we're not even through the whole crime yet, other than him saying that, guys, he didn't know. He didn't know any of this was happening. This au pair did this all on her own, friends. All on her own.
All by herself. Yes.
Yeah, got access to his wife's phone and laptop.
Mm-hmm.
All by herself.
He said herself.
He would never know her passwords. Do you know your spouse's passwords? I know mine. Just because you live together for a long time, Yeah. Like, it's not like I look at her things, but I know her passwords to get in and out if I needed to get into something. Like she knows mine, like, whatever. Brendan, you dumbass. So anyway, that happened
and
today.
He does, because he's a cheater. So of course he knows her stuff, because he expects her to cheat, because he cheats.
Right.
You bet he knows.
Here's the thing here's who Brendan really is. Brendan is a really insecure math nerd. Hardcore math nerd. Okay. They owned a business together that was math tutoring. And to hear him talk about it, oh my God, he was nerding out just talking about it. Like, he's all about the numbers, friends. He loves numbers. He loves math. That's why he's in the IRS.
Oh.
But he's got a badge and a gun, friends, so that makes him James Bond with math.
And a real weird comb-over situation. Yeah.
Oh, my God. All of the combing forward and fluffing it up. Come on, dude. You're bald on top. We can all tell. Okay? It is not a surprise.
That's no problem. What you're doing is, good Lord.
Just be bald on top. Oh, my God. Our dad would have absolutely died laughing over this hairdo. Because he was a barber and he was bald on top. And he used to tell us about the crazy haircuts he would have to give men, where they would leave the top, what they did have, so long so that they could sort of do like one guy did this sort of swirl it around thing, kind of like Trump does, to make it look like he wasn't bald on top. And he'd take it down and my dad would trim it and it's clear down here. Yeah. Anyway,
hilarious.
Yes, he taught the 4-year-old.
Big of a deal. Come on now.
Yeah, he taught the 4-year-old math, and then he taught some other kids math too. This guy should be not teaching anybody anything.
Yeah,
and won't be anymore after this trial. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he taught the au pair a few things, but
oh my God, yikes. Okay, so with that, Katie, got some pretty interesting news coming out of the Tyler Robinson case.
Yeah, there's an interesting battle going on. Tyler, of course, is in Utah being held. He's accused of shooting Charlie Kirk, and they're battling out right now. So this defense is trying to have the entire prosecutorial team removed. And the reason for that, we've discussed this before, but the reason for that is because one of the prosecutors had a daughter that was present. She's a witness.
Right.
And because of that, they feel like this prosecution team can't really try this case. So there's a hearing coming up regarding that. And one of the bits of evidence that the state wants to show is the shooting video. And the defense feels like that's inappropriate and that there's no reason for that. So here's what they say in their filing, and they're talking about the fact that this case has got so much attention and that this is a piece of evidence that should be held until trial because it confuses the issues and it could jeopardize his right to a fair trial by further tainting a future jury. They say this proposed exhibit is clearly inadmissible. If admitted, which would be in the contravention to the Utah Rules of Evidence, it should remain sealed until it is admitted into evidence, if it is at trial, because they're going to fight it being admitted at trial too. The video of Mr. Kirk's death has no tendency to make any fact relating to the motion to disqualify more or less than it would be without the introduction of the video. The state has submitted still photos and diagrams, none of which Mr. Robinson objects to, showing Mr. Kirk's location and proximity to the audience, and the believed location of the family member of a member of the prosecution team, which are wholly sufficient to impart the relevant information that the state believes should be considered by this court. So essentially, they're just saying there's no reason to share the video. We don't understand why they would. And we don't think it's right because this is an internationally recognized case. And the more we disseminate evidence, the more we taint the jury pool. So that's the argument, but they are indicating that they are going to argue against the video in trial, coming out in trial too, which I can't fathom they would win that one. But it's true. Why do they need that? Why do they need that now? Why?
Right. I don't quite understand it. Also, it is the super up close video, which if you've seen it is extremely graphic.
Oh, yeah.
The other issue with it is that it's not like it shows Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk. It shows Charlie Kirk being shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I doubt they're going to win this, but it is an extremely graphic video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's all. It's not a big thing, but it's an interesting thing nonetheless.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's a big battle. It's a big battle to fight.
Yeah.
Is the video of the actual death. But I do think that they have some legal standing on it. I just don't know that they're going to get what they're asking for here.
Yeah. I'm more curious to see if the prosecutorial team is allowed to stay.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that to see, because they still have to hear from the child of one of the prosecutors who is going to be questioned. The judge wants to know.
Yeah.
On that. So yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. I don't know. I kind of think they're going to lose all of it, frankly, but I could be wrong.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Well, it's up to the judge to protect the case. Well, it's also up to the state, but it's up to the judge ultimately to protect the potential conviction from being overturned on appeal. And if there's any question that these folks shouldn't be the ones trying this, then maybe he'll have to make that decision. I don't know.
I mean, it's an important question that has to be resolved immediately. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. All righty. Okay. Let's talk about McKee Stines. There's quite a bit going on with McKee Stines right now. Well, quite a bit. The thing that's going on with McKee Stines is that the judge in this case has been removed. Now, we're seeing a lot of judge removal happening right now, and it just doesn't seem like that common. But if you'll recall,
3 in a couple of days.
Yeah. There have been concerns about this judge anyway, because, of course, Stines was the sheriff, and so there's a lot of connections to judges.
Well, Andy killed a judge.
Andy killed a judge who this judge knew. There's all that. And then there's the whole question about the indictment. the grand jury indictment. And if you recall, a while back, the defense brought up that at the grand jury, during the grand jury hearings, that the grand jury asked for McKee Stines' medical records. And instead of providing them, the prosecutor brought in a police officer who said, yeah, we looked and there wasn't anything in there, which isn't true at all. McKee Stines had been seeing a doctor a couple of days before this shooting, had been diagnosed with basically a form of stress-induced psychosis. Like, there were serious concerns about his mental health prior to the shooting by a medical professional, and that was not shared with the grand jury. And then this came back to this judge, and the judge said, nah, it's fine. The indictment stands. So the defense basically was like, all right, that's it. We are going to have to go after this judge. Mm-hmm. And they did. Mm-hmm. And the Kentucky Supreme Court said that this judge should be given the chance to remove themselves, but that if he doesn't do it, that the deputy chief justice is going to review it. So they're basically like, take yourself off or we're taking you off.
Right.
One
quit
of the reasons,
quit or be fired.
Yep. Yeah. Quit or be fired. One of the reasons is because Judge Kouri was seen sitting next to Mullins, who is the victim, during a judicial commission on mental health. Friends.
Oh,
that's not good. That is not good. Mm-hmm. So basically, the Chief Justice of the Kentucky Supreme Court is like, hey, you get yourself out of here or I'm going to do it for you. So it's likely that there will be a special judge appointed to this case, which there really should be. When you consider that this guy was the sheriff and that his victim was a judge, they should be bringing in a judge from a different part of the state who didn't know any of these people. Like, why would you risk that? That is massive appeal information. And if there's any concern that this judge is not unbiased because of their relationship with Judge Mullins, I mean, that could get everything thrown out. So I think it's pretty interesting. We're going to see where this goes, but I do think that it's likely gonna result in a new judge.
Yep.
With that, Katie, the Alexander brothers have begun their trial this week.
They have, yeah. There's the Alexander brothers. We have discussed these guys at length earlier this week, but these are the three brothers that are charged and now being tried with a bunch of rape and trafficking and conspiracy charges. So the jury has now been selected and opening statements have been given and we've had a witness on the stand. So they are rolling forward. A lot of people are saying that if you thought that what you saw or heard about in Diddy's trial was shocking, you have seen nothing yet out of these guys.
Oh, boy.
So, and speaking of Diddy, some of his attorneys are their attorneys. So the prosecution's narrative, and of course this is a federal trial, so we don't have any footage at all. No. But the prosecution's narrative essentially is that these were not party boys. These were predators that were using a party boy persona to find victims for each other. Some of their victims, they had actually planned these encounters for weeks. Some of them were just opportunities, just that fell at their feet. But here's some of the central themes from this opening from the state. They said the brothers used wealth, social status, and luxury access, from exclusive parties to trips to high-end locales, to lure women in into their circle. So basically coming across as being rich and have a high social status. You know a lot of famous people. You're selling houses to all these famous people. You're driving fancy cars, and we're taking fancy trips, and we've got all these beautiful women around us all the time, and you want that too. They described a playbook of predatory behavior, claiming that the brothers didn't just socialize, they drugged, coerced, and sexually assaulted victims over the course of many years. Yeah, from 2008 to 2021, I believe, were the dates that they included.
Wow.
The state says that their conduct went far beyond consensual hookups or flirtation because drugging, physical restraints, and abuses occurred that rendered victims unable to resist.
God.
The state said that the evidence will include text messages and testimony suggesting that the brothers celebrated assaults and treated victims as conquests. In one-sided claim, prosecutors told the jury that the brothers masqueraded as party boys while actually engaging in systematic predation.
Jesus.
And systematic predation is a phrase that will be a thread that is woven all the way through this case about what they were doing. The defense says that this was all consensual, not crimes. They wanted it. They said that the brothers had active social lives, guys. They insisted the encounters described were consensual, sexual experiences, not criminal acts. They said that jurors might find their client's behavior immoral or crude, but immorality is not a crime.
Rape
Defense
is,
counsel, yeah. Defense counsel also questioned the credibility of expected witnesses, suggesting that some accusers may have regret-based complaints or financial motives. Regret-based complaints.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So same shit, different day as far as
I
sexual
believe
assault
there's
cases are concerned.
60 women. 60.
Oh my God.
But sure, 20 women are going to testify. They argued prosecutors are asking the jury to criminalize consensual, regretted behavior rather than prove the legal elements of serious charges. Oh, that makes me sick. Sick.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Right. And Jules says sick family code. Exactly. The way these three were involved with each other in this is so screwed up.
Yeah. So the first witness took the stand, testifying under a pseudonym. In fact, all of the witnesses are going to be testifying under pseudonyms. So she testified about a 2012 incident. She met them at a party that was being hosted by Zac Efron. Zac Efron's not being accused of any wrongdoing. She just met them at his party. She said she was drugged and raped by Alon Alexander. On cross, the defense was trying to probe inconsistencies about social media actions that night. You know, because she was posting things on social media, which means she's a liar. And she said those were attempts to maintain normalcy. You beautiful young women invited to these fancy parties. Something terrible happens, and they know that if they speak up, they're going to be thrown out of these social circles. And whatever their goals were, whether they are, building careers or they're just trying to keep their family safe or for whatever reason, whatever threats maybe were lodged at them.
And drugs given to them.
Will frequently do what they have to do. And anyway, it makes me sick. I hate that this is what the defense is coming up with. Typical, so typical, but damn it, every time. They're just embarrassed and they regret going into that situation. So now they're saying it was wrong. Sure. A lot of people regret getting raped, but it's, not their fault.
Right. Doesn't mean they deserved it.
So we'll continue to keep an eye on this, but it's going to be just as gross as you think.
Yeah, I would imagine that it is. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, some good news in the Aaron Spencer case.
Yeah.
And that is that Aaron Spencer also has a new judge, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Arkansas Supreme Court was like, wait a motherfucking minute. You're telling me that judge stayed on this case after we told her to get off this case?
Mm-hmm.
She is off this case.
Yeah.
Kicked her off, and he has a new judge. Retired Circuit Judge Ralph Wilson will oversee the trial of Aaron Spencer. Now, that trial was supposed to begin this week. Obviously, that's not going to work because brand new judge, but excellent news. A judge who is impartial, a judge who is not trying to cover their own ass because they caused this whole fucking thing. Much more fair for Aaron Spencer. So fingers crossed that this judge recognizes this for the bullshit that it is.
Right. I mean, the best thing in the world would be if this judge looks it over and goes, we're dismissing this with prejudice. This is not happening. But this judge has a really strong history of being a child abuse advocate.
Yes.
And so I think that's going to be really good for Aaron Spencer.
Yeah, I think it is. And, you know, as we've said, many of you said, where would they possibly find a jury that would convict this man for rescuing and defending his own kidnapped child with this man who had been charged with like 45 sex crimes and then was
49.
let out? 49. And then let out. And then the judge that let that man out is the judge overseeing his trial for this man's murder. And not seeing this as a defense of another case. Like, it's ridiculous, but it makes me really happy that the Arkansas Supreme Court was like, we're not playing with this. You're out.
Yep. They've been quite the friend to Aaron Spencer.
Well, they have. I mean, I think
and it's because his rights have been violated, not because they're giving him partiality, but...
Right, exactly. His rights have been violated multiple times. Katie, what's going on with Charlie Adelson?
I don't have a picture of Charlie. That's the one I missed. It's okay. I won't do it to you. No jump scare today. We don't have to look at his
dumb face, do we?
So oral arguments are next week in his attempt at an appeal. So his team is getting their day in court. He actually won't be present. But his appellate attorneys are going to be appealing. They'll be arguing significant constitutional issues. Essentially, they're arguing about the fact that his trial was not moved, like they believe it should have been. Very similar arguments to Donna's, actually, but he waived his venue motion when he accepted the members of the jury without objection as a part of the selection process. They're saying that shouldn't have happened. They're saying, so he's actually been moved to South Dakota after extortion threats in Florida.
Well, Charlie's an ass,
okay.
So they probably had to get him out of there.
They probably did, yeah. So at any rate, those arguments are going to happen next week. So we'll see what happens with that. But just wanted to give you a heads up that's coming.
Well, that should be quite something. Remember that only about 3% of appeals prevail. It's very unlikely that his will. Just because he's getting an appeal does not mean he will win the appeal. It's a good thing to be reminded of.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Him
and Murdoch. I think Murdoch has a way better chance than he does, but...
He does, unfortunately. Let's talk a little bit about the murder of Alex Pretti. We first reported on this on Monday. This happened last weekend in Minneapolis. A couple of things that we know now. One is that he was actually shot by 2 different agents. One of these days, we'll show you the video that breaks down exactly who did it and when. The problem is we don't know who these people are. They have been relieved of duty and moved outside Minnesota. That's what the Department of Homeland Security is saying, and they're refusing to release their names.
Yeah.
Which I find very problematic. I do think that the people have the right to know. Here's the other thing that has happened, and I have to show you this guy because this is real life. is Gregory Bovino. This guy is the ICE agent who's been in charge of the entire ICE operation in Minneapolis. Look at how this man is dressed. Does he look like an SS officer to you? Look at that jacket. And no shit, he had these clothes made and has been wearing these around the state of Minnesota, looking like a fucking SS officer. It's so bizarre. But good news, he's also been relieved of his duty and he's either fired or he's demoted back to his position at the border with basically instructions to retire ASAP. So I don't want to say, hey, great, they're really doing something about this, because no, they're not. He's just the fall guy here. But when I saw these pictures of him and the stuff he's wearing, what the hell? It's creepy as hell. Also, this dude's super short, and there's a lot of jokes online about him because he's such a short guy that he's got a real attitude about life. Yes, Joelle, I've heard that too. They've called him Officer of the 1/3 Reich because he's so short. Which is terrible, but also hilarious. And I think that jacket only makes that shortness worse. But isn't that creepy? Like, why is he allowed to just make up his own uniform like that? And he's representing the federal government? That's not a thing. Katie, I think you're muted.
I am. I was saying a lot of the ICE agents, you see pictures of them and their uniform isn't normalized.
No, not at all. It makes it much harder to know. And, if we don't know and have the real images of the men who shot Alex Pretti, how do we know where those people are?
Right.
They are murderers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who they are. We don't know who they are.
Yep.
That is very, very creepy.
Yeah.
Plus, this guy, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Katie, let's see. What else do you have? What's going on with Kouri Richins?
Yeah, jump scare. Get ready. Ba-boom.
Okay. Right.
That's not like, throwing Donald Adelson's face up here. I know, but anyway, wow. Over and over again in Kouri Richins' case, I have wondered, what the hell is the state doing? And the police department, because there have been a lot of kind of dicey, right on the line of this legal or not kind of stuff. And it's made me nervous because obviously it would be, everyone wants to see justice, right? I mean, we want the legal system to work correctly, however. And every defendant, whatever they are accused of, they are innocent until proven guilty. And this case has concerned me. And yet again, they have filed something that it is a concern. They are claiming that the state is harassing and intimidating witnesses. Now, Kouri, they start trial or jury selection next week. I mean, this is coming on hot.
Right.
This is happening really soon. So they're now, the defense is asking for all communications between the state and the witnesses. Now, I will say, however, that this defense in this case tends to have their hair on fire, right?
They do.
And so they file this stuff that you're like, holy shit, that's really bad if true. And then it comes out that really it isn't true. That was hair on fire,
really
right?
Overblown, yeah.
But listen to what they're saying. Her attorney, Catherine Nestor, says that one witness reached out to defense attorneys saying she was being harassed and asking the defense team if they could do anything to protect her from them. Now, it's also true that some people that get called to be witnesses really don't want to be witnesses, right? They don't like it. And so they may have an attitude about the state or with the state. I recognize that.
Yeah.
But She said the witness made it clear to O'Driscoll that she did not want prosecutors to prepare her for her testimony and asked them to send questions in writing. So essentially, she was refusing to sit down with the state to get prepared for trial.
She doesn't
Right.
want to get in trouble for defying a subpoena, does she?
Right. So
just because she doesn't want to.
But now if this is true, she says, the response from O'Driscoll said, "You have received a subpoena to appear at the court as a witness. If you fail to do so, the judge will issue a warrant for your arrest. You will then have to sit in a holding cell until you are needed to testify. So make your life easier and answer our calls so we can prep you on what you will be asked. Otherwise, the next time I knock on your door, I'll have a warrant and a catch pole for your dog."
Well, I mean...
He also did not provide a date she would need to come to the trial when asked, instead telling her to show up at the court every day of the trial, February 23rd through March 26th, because she had not replied.
Wow.
So on one hand,
they
clearly...
can't give them an exact date. That's just not how it works.
But they should be able to give them a ballpark. I mean, to tell her she has to come every day is way too much.
But maybe this is just because she's being a pain in the ass, too.
Right. They're playing hardball with her because she's trying to play hardball with them. But it's still a little shocking that witnesses would be feeling like they're being threatened. And these were text messages that they did submit to the court. That's just one, and there's more. So that's what's happening. Again, concerning if true, but you have to really take that all with a grain of salt because this court or this defense team has tended to be very reactive. So
right.
Anyway.
And just because somebody doesn't want to do something they've been subpoenaed to do doesn't mean they don't have to.
Right.
And that they can just complain to the defense and get out of it. It doesn't work like that. But yeah,
no.
Marta said, "I'm so curious about which witnesses this refers to. Summit County have very wealthy and entitled residents." Right. And this is a, can I speak to your manager kind of Karen move as far as I'm concerned. But is this the witness, the woman that sold her the drugs? Right. We don't know who, but it does come across as very entitled.
It definitely
I'm like,
does.
well, I don't want to, so I'm just not going to. And I'm going to complain that I'm being picked on. Well, if you're subpoenaed to a murder trial, you have to go. Like, get over it.
Yeah. Yep. But it does raise the question, do they have to get prepped? Or could you refuse that part?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I don't know either. I'm not sure about that.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to. That's weird.
Because
why
you're being
don't
an asshole.
You want to?
That's
because
all.
You're being an asshole,
you're being
or
an
you're
asshole.
afraid of something they're going to ask you. Are you afraid of being implicated? Like, what would be the reason you would?
What's your deal?
You'd want that.
I would. If I was called as a witness, I would be very nervous and want to make sure that I knew what they were going to ask me. I would want to know. I would want to be prepped. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah, definitely both sides of the coin on that one. But that is the question I have. Yep. Is do they have to prep? Do they have to be a part of that, or can they just show up when they're told to?
I don't know. That's a good point too, sweet doggy mom. Could they be considered a hostile witness at that point?
Right.
Right, because they have to depose the witnesses. We know that.
I'm guessing she's probably already been deposed. I would imagine that's already happened. And now it's just that final follow-up before court. And he's also saying that if you don't want to come in and get prepped, we're not going to give you an idea of when you're going to testify. You can just come every day.
Yeah. It sounds a whole lot like there's a lot of Karen-y shit going on here.
It does. But it still worries me just from the standpoint of how far is too far, and trying to make somebody play ball.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
How much can you threaten before you get in trouble? Yeah.
I mean, I guess they are the state. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandy's got quite a bit to say about things tonight.
She really does.
Well, I have one more thing I want to talk to you about. And this is not exactly a crime, but it could be, and it's something we need to be aware of. These that I'm showing you right here, these are LRADs. LRADs are sonic weapons
Mm-hmm.
that are used by militaries are not supposed to be used on civilians. There are accusations that ICE or some uh, National Guard are using LRADs on their vehicles. And I want to tell you what an LRAD is, because I think it's important. First of all, I wanted to show you some pictures of them, and there are many different sizes. Some of them can be carried by hand. Some of them are mounted on a vehicle. Some of them are like in the back of a truck or a big van. But let me tell you what they are, because they're dangerous, and it's really important that you understand what they are. LRAD stands for, sorry, where's my, let me get my right thing here. Long range acoustic device. This is a sonic device. It's like a high powered directional sound system. It is like a speaker that can project very, very far in one direction, very, very loudly. Sometimes they can be heard a mile away. Sometimes they're used to give direction if somebody's like holed up in their house.
Yeah.
Or something. They can also be used for announcements or warning signals. Right, Cuba, anyone. We'll get there in just a minute, sweet doggy mom. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. The other thing that they can be used for, however, if they're turned up really high, is that they can be used for crowd control or to cause disorientation and intense pain to people in one very specific targeted direction. They can be used to force a crowd to disperse or force people to leave a particular situation. Because if you stand in the way of that LRAD beam for too long, it will rupture your eardrums.
Sure.
They are very scary. Various cities and National Guard and other groups have toyed around in the last few years with using them on U.S. citizens, and it has been extremely unpopular because this is a military weapon, and depending on the size of it, can be extremely dangerous. The very big ones can cause people to lose consciousness. They can potentially cause someone who has an underlying health problem to have an aneurysm or a heart attack. They could cause someone to lose consciousness and fall and gain a head injury.
Sure.
They're very, very dangerous.
Well, or like perhaps an epileptic or somebody that, is prone to, an incident could, I don't know if it would, but it would make you wonder if that could accelerate that or exacerbate that.
Right.
Anyway.
And they're extremely dangerous to children, because we're talking about the effects I'm talking about are on adults.
Right.
They're extremely dangerous.
Can you imagine
and
how quickly that could rupture a baby's ears?
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
And they are military level weapons, but there are concerns that they may be or potentially going to be used on American citizens. And so I want you to see what they look like. Bethy says, so carry earplugs or Viking shields. Unfortunately, earplugs will do absolutely nothing for you with an LRAD. There isn't really a way to shield. The only way is to run and get away. And they cause so much pain that that's all you can do is get away. They are very dangerous.
Well, and in a large group, that could cause stampeding too.
It could cause people to run each other over. Are they illegal to the public, but not the military? I believe so, yes, that they can only be purchased by like law enforcement. But currently, they're not really being used by American law enforcement, as far as we know. But there are concerns. There have been some photos going around that potentially there are ICE vehicles that have LRADs on them. Yikes. So I wanted to show them to you. I also wanted to address something that Sweet Doggy Mom said. She said, Cuba, anyone? Yes. I don't know if you've ever heard of Havana syndrome, but Havana syndrome is something identified, and this started in Cuba and in Havana, which is why It's called Havana syndrome, where there are individual people who have been hit with some kind of a sonic weapon where they had an eardrum rupture, they collapsed. Some people have died from aneurysms or heart attacks from being attacked in their homes or in office buildings. It is believed that the American military does own LRADs. It is also believed that the Russians have LRADs, and maybe lots of other places have LRADs as well as other kinds of sonic weapons. There are microwave forms of this. It is rumored, and again, I am saying only that these things are rumored because I can't prove them, that some kind of a sonic weapon was used when the United States captured Venezuela's president and his wife, that his guards were overcome using a sonic weapon of some sort. They are extremely dangerous, and they could be used to hit a giant crowd of people all at once and cause serious damage to individual people, and could be used on protesters, which would be illegal because that would be intentional harm and using military grade weapons on protesters, like shooting them and killing them also is illegal. So just something I wanted to bring up. I've studied quite a bit about sonic weapons. I'm continuing to learn about them to better understand them. I've been concerned about them for a long time. 60 Minutes has done a whole series on this type of weapon. You might go look at it. They've been talking about Havana syndrome for years. There's a lot of it's sort of like aliens with these. It's sort of like, oh, that's not real. That's not a thing. It definitely is. And using sound waves as weapons is something that has been known to be possible for a very long time and has been used. So if anybody tries to tell you these things are not real, they are very much real. Right. It could get non-protesting members of the public, right? And why would it be used on protesters? If they're peacefully protesting, this would be an attack. How do they protect soldiers? Well, if you're standing behind the LRAD, you're fine. It's a very concentrated beam of sound, of sound waves, of frequency. And some say it was mass hysteria that caused Havana syndrome. It's bullshit. If you look into Havana syndrome, there's some very real events that have occurred already. But this is very concerning to me. That we might see a weapon like this used against Americans. So that is something I just wanted you all to know about.
Wow.
And with that, Katie, I think you will wrap us up with Ken McKee.
Yes, I have one funny to share with you as well, but we'll do McKee first.
Okay.
All right. As you know, this is the person who is accused of murdering Monique and Spencer Tepe. McKee is also Monique's ex-husband. They divorced in 2017, but I think they were only married for like 7 or 8 months. So the arrest affidavit is out, and there's some very alarming things in it. One thing is that back a few weeks before they died, this fool was in their house.
How scary.
Their house. They were gone to a football game. They were at the Big Ten Championship on December 6th. And apparently he entered their house and was there for a time before he just left. And friends that were with them at the Big Ten Championship said that Monique left early because she was so upset about something involving her ex-husband. And went back to the hotel because she was so upset. That's what it was. They learned that he was in their house poking around.
My God, that is terrifying.
We also learned a little bit, preparing. We also learned a little bit more about prior abuse. So according to the arrest affidavit, he made numerous threats against her life, including telling her that he could kill her at any time, that he would find her and buy the house next door, and that she will always be his wife. He also forced unwanted sex during the marriage. I'm going to go ahead and call that rape.
Yeah.
And that he alleged that's the terminology that's being used, though. Forced unwanted sex. Just because you're married doesn't mean
that's called rape.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that he allegedly strangled her, according to a witness.
God.
So, yeah, just things coming out that are very alarming, but also they have been divorced since 2017.
And he just could not let go.
He could not let go. He was going to get his vengeance at some point. Yeah. Yeah. So, obviously, we're in the very beginning of this, and this will take a long time to march through the courts, but that's where it's at right now.
Wow.
But I wanted to share one picture of you. This is from Kathy Russin on Twitter. This is the prosecutor's face as she listens to Brendan Banfield. Is that not
Same.
The funniest?
Same, lady. Same. Yeah.
Always. Always.
Yeah. I know.
That's all
Listening
of us.
to him and seeing that stupid smirk on his face when he was like so flattered, I was like, oh my God. Someone should hit you in the head with a rock right now.
She looks like that eye is physically twitching.
Yes, she does. I love it. I love it.
Yep. Hang in there. Hang in there, State, because tomorrow's going to be, well, you'll have your chance.
I really hope, and I don't know which one of the prosecutors will question him, but I want it to be the woman real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Real bad.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I think so. Right. I was thinking the same thing. She reminds me of Georgia in
Adelson.
Donna Adelson's trial. Yeah. Yeah. So come on, man. She needs to be the one up to the bench for this.
Yes.
Up to bat for this. I mean, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Well, that is a lot. Thank you all very much for being here. We will be back tomorrow. I have a hell of a story for you guys tomorrow. Holy shit balls, man. This world is crazy.
Well, yes, that. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Mountain for our live. And of course, if you don't watch us live, we're just around wherever, whenever. We're always there. And we appreciate all of you so very much. So, you know it. We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
Join the Super Squad. Bonus laughs, deeper clues, same sharp sleuths, just extra clues.